Hello and welcome to the introduction to walk cycle for your projects. I'm going to show you a little bit about how you're going to start working on your projects. This is one of the options. There are a few more options. You can, for example, I'm going to show you how to use constraints. You can create your project without using constraints. However, uh, part of your assessments is to check whether you can use constraints. So I would advise you should use at least one constraint, either a point constraint or a joint constraint attached to at least one bone. So your project contains at least one constraint. Um, this is one way. Another way is to actually control the movement of your limbs of this human model through constraints exclusively, and don't touch the bones at all. So this is another way. However, this is entirely up to you how you use it. So to start off, make sure the human model is standing straight and your IKs are in place, and make sure the IKs are working correctly. Like for example, for this one, let me select an IK. Uh, yeah, this is the IK of this leg. Then make sure it is moving in the correct direction and not the opposite direction. Okay, so if it's moving in the opposite direction, then you have to correct it, redo it, redraw it, whatever it takes. And make sure you do it for the arms also, for these arms. So you need to have the IKs in place for all the limbs. Um, First of all, what I need to do is to make sure I am clicking on the first keyframe. Uh, the smoothing is done for the body and the bones already. The IKs are in place, and also something very important, make sure you have given them names. If you don't give them names, you're not going to remember which bone corresponds to which part of the body. So it is very important to give them names. I have not given them names because it's part of your project. You should do it yourself. And let me click on this IK and bring the human step back to where it was before. Okay, so it's roughly where it was before. Now let's have him start. Actually, stand straight, Mr. Human. Okay, now it's better. Alright, now what I'm gonna do is to take first step. If you're moving this leg forward, which is the right leg forward, remember, if you're moving this leg forward, then this hand has to come forward also. This we have to put on the rotation, and we have to move this guy forward and move this IK forward, and this hand where for example right leg is being moving forward, so right hand has to go back also. So this is the normal way things move. There's no yeah, this one. I need to select this bone, press E and turn it slightly back. Okay, so this is slide back, this step is forward, this hand is forward. It is too much outside of his chest, so let's bring it back towards his chest a little bit. Yeah, and let's rotate a little bit also. It looks natural. And then remember, whenever right leg is being taken, right step is being taken forward, this part of the body leans forward. Whenever left leg is being taken, step is being taken, this part of the body leans forward. Okay, so this is a cycle which actually keeps on going until the human stops. So what I'm going to do now is because this is the first step. This part of the body leans forward. The whole body leans forward a little bit. It's minor, but it does matter. Yes, like this. Okay, and this part of the body leans forward. So I can actually select only the shoulder. Yes, like. And it happens the other way around. Yeah, it happens like this in the other step. This is too much I'm doing, but I'm just to show you. It should be this much only for the right step and this much only for the left step. So, and this cycle should continue. So this is the only chest movement I'm showing you. The the hands movement also have to be there. The legs movement also have to be there, and all of them have to be animated. Which means that if I am changing the position of this bone, I have to make sure I am pressing S. Okay, and if I'm changing position over here as I just did of this bone, I have to make sure I press S. And what would S do is it will convert all the properties to the animation. So I've also moved this step, remember, so I'm going to press S now, and I've also moved this guy, this hand, so I'm going to press S. So whatever movement you do, make sure you press S, and that constitutes my first step. Okay, so these are the basic movements I'm looking for in any step, and let's start off as a standing man. Okay, so now I have a straight human model. He's just standing over there, and I just want him to take the first steps. What I'm gonna do is just keyframe it. Press S and select anything. Press S, and yes. So this is uh, the bone along which I need to create a point constraint. Just create the circle. Just somewhere in the front. Yes, create a circle. Place somewhere over here and rotate it 90 degrees, so it becomes like this, so you can control it. And again another one, yeah, place it under another feet. Once you do that, let's go back to the perspective. Click this, click on the IK, control and click on the IK second. Go to constraint, point constraint, click, make sure maintain offset is selected, apply and close. Do again for the other constraint, click on control, click on IK, the relevant IK, and constraint, point, maintain offset, apply. Okay, so now what you would be able to do is to control this through the circle, okay, without actually touching the bone. So you can also do this for constraints over here. You should be creating constraints, orient constraints for joints that we could see over here. Yeah, so like for this joint number 16, which you would name in your projects, I'll click a circle. Let me go back to this one again, create a circle over here, this, and just rotate it around my y-axis so I can actually use it over there. So this should also be somewhere over here. Okay, go back, click this, join 16, control and press join 16, constraint, orient constraint, intent offset, apply. Do this again for the same bone, another bone, the same way. Now this is the problem, if you don't remember the joint name, then it's going to be a little bit tricky. So let's click on this, control and click on this, orient, sorry. Okay, now apply. So now when I click on this now, and I press this icon, which is the rotate tool, or E, I can actually rotate the arm. See? So this is my orient constraint in place, and without actually touching the arm, I can move the arm along this axis and along this axis also. Okay, so I've got my constraints in place. Let's take the first step now. So this is where I am right now. Okay, so now what I need to do is, if I am taking this step forward, I'll do that through the constraint, but I need to make sure of my keyframes. If, for example, for 10 seconds of video, I'm running, for example, 10 keyframes in 1 second, then for 10 seconds of video, I need 100 keyframes. So if this is being elapsed in 1 second, I need total 100, and I can actually control the 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 play in frames per second from here. So let's do it real time. You can also do it half. So for example, this is being played in 24 seconds. What this means is that 24 times 10, 240 keyframes is what I need to play a movie for 10 seconds. So this is my first keyframe, the standing position. Let's click on 10 now, and on 10 you move this guy, this joint. Okay, this joint, and this joint has to also rotate, so it seems that this is moving, and this guy has to go a little bit back. It's already a little back than normal, and this guy has to move forward. This hand has to move forward. Okay, yeah, that looks like it. A little bit outside maybe, yeah. And this guy has to lean a little bit forward, so leaning forward is this way. And also, since this leg is being taken, this step is being taken, so this shoulder will move a little bit like this. Okay, and when you take the second step, which is this one, this shoulder will come back over here like this. So it's this movement which we have to do. So right now we do it this way. Okay, and also when all of this is being done, what I need to do is I need to bring him a little bit forward. Yes, so that the human comes in between of these two legs. His center body comes in between of these two legs, and this has to touch down. This is how he takes the first step. Okay, and whatever movements you have done, make sure you press S along it, along those movements, whatever you have changed. So it should animate those movements, and this also, this. So this will constitute my first step. The human model has taken up till 10. So if you see, the body leans forward, the legs goes forward, the two hands, they are also moving in the correct directions, in the opposite directions, and this guy is taking a step. If you see now, the first step is almost perfect. The two legs are moving in the opposite direction, the two hands are also moving in the opposite direction, the chest is moving in the opposite direction also, although it may need to be a little bit less than what it is now, so that it does not look unreal and extra, but it has to move in the opposite direction than what it was before, and the step taking, the chest should move along towards the step which is being taken. So if you, yeah, so if you look like this and just click over here and make it move over here. So it had to be straight before. And it is moving towards the opposite direction when the step is being taken. So let's look at it from this view. You will see a perfect step is being taken now. So the same thing you have to repeat for the other step and keep it coming for at least 10 seconds. So this is what it was.